Have you ever felt like the weight of the world is just kind of aimed right at you? You know, you're just trying to get through your day, and suddenly there are obstacles, just one after another. It feels relentless sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. That feeling of being, well, under siege, whether it's stuff happening outside or struggles inside your own head. Yeah, everyone hits that point.
Right. Well, today we're doing a deep dive. We're focusing on just one specific source, but it's a powerful one. It really speaks to that exact feeling.
Okay.
It's all centered around this promise from Scripture, Isaiah 54.17. And the verse, it makes this incredibly bold statement: "No weapon formed against you shall prosper."
Wow. Yeah, that definitely grabs your attention. It's promising. Like real security, even when things are tough.
It really does. So our mission for this dive is to unpack that. Like, what does this promise really mean for you today when you're facing challenges? We're sticking just to what this one source presents.
Okay, let's dig in. Because the source makes a really important distinction right off the bat. It points out the promise doesn't say weapons won't form.
That's huge, isn't it? It acknowledges, okay, opposition is going to come. The enemy, or whatever you see as the source of that opposition, they will gear up. The source isn't pretending life suddenly becomes easy.
Exactly. And here's the catch, like the really good part. The source says, yes, weapons are formed, but, and this is the core promise, they will not prosper. They won't succeed in what they're ultimately trying to do to you.
Okay, so the attack might land a blow, maybe even cause some short-term pain, but it won't actually achieve its final destructive goal.
Yeah.
There has to be a reason for that confidence in the source, right? Why won't these weapons prosper?
There is, and it's fundamental according to this material. The outcome, it says, doesn't just depend on your strength to fight back. The source is clear. You're not fighting alone. There's a higher power involved.
Right, okay. That completely shifts things, doesn't it? It's not just weapon versus me, but what kind of weapons are we talking about now? It's usually not literal swords these days. How does the source translate that? What are the modern struggles?
Yeah, the source connects it directly to things that feel like attacks on your life, your peace, your future. It gives examples, like getting a really difficult doctor's diagnosis.
Yeah.
Or facing serious money troubles, financial hardship, even being betrayed by someone close, or just those internal battles like doubt and fear trying to take over.
So the source is saying that same promise from Isaiah, thousands of years old, applies directly to these very personal modern struggles.
Precisely. It states very clearly that even these modern weapons formed against you, well, they won't ultimately prevail against the strength that's with you. It reinforces that God, according to the source, has the final say.
Okay, that brings up the how. How does this actually work? How does the source describe this protection kicking in?
Well, it explains it as God's presence and his power. It says when you stand on this promise, his power literally surrounds you, like a shield. And it uses another powerful image from Scripture, quoting Psalm 91.4, the one. He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge.
That's such a vivid picture. Not just defense, but like a safe place, a refuge. It feels active, not just passive.
And what's really interesting is how the source then uses examples. It points to figures like David facing Goliath. Talk about a weapon formed against you.
Seriously, a giant.
Right, or Daniel in the lion's den. Those lions were definitely weapons. And the source highlights, look, David wasn't crushed. Daniel wasn't eaten. Why? Not because they were so mighty, but because God was with them. And then the source makes that direct link.
Yeah.
That same God, that same protection is with you today.
Wow. So it bridges ancient stories right to your life now. The source also mentions this isn't just theory, right? It talks about real people.
It does. It talks about real people, real battles, real victories. People who actually held on to this promise and saw God's faithfulness. It's presented as, a proven reality for those who trust him.
Okay, so practically speaking, if you're facing one of these weapons right now, what does the source suggest you do? How do you actually stand on this promise?
It encourages an active response. So when fear or doubt show up, because they are weapons trying to prosper, the source suggests remembering the promise, say it out loud, declare it over your situation. And the basis for doing that, it says, is trusting that the God who made the promise, well, he keeps his word.
That's a tangible step. Okay, so wrapping up the core idea from this source. Weapons will form, challenges are definitely real, but the promise holds firm. They will not prosper.
And the reason the source powerfully emphasizes is because you're not in it alone. It says God is actively fighting for you.
Right. So here's that final thought, straight from the source's conclusion for you to think about. It says, flat out, the victory is already won. What could that specific idea mean for the particular battle, the specific weapon you might be facing today? Something to really chew on.